Welcome, Rizalistas! We are now on our 5th lesson in Rizal 001 entitled Conflict with the Dominicans. This lesson will primarily tackle the topics on the Nolimitangere controversy, Rizal, an American-made hero, and the Agrarian Conflict. Before we proceed to our discussion, let us have a warm-up activity. We all have a special person in our lives. These people influenced and molded us to become who we are today. Now, I want you to share with everyone who is the hero of your life. Comment down below for your answers. I know you're very much excited. Let us unravel the Nolimitangere controversy. By the time Rizal arrived from Europe, controversy on the Nolimitangere had already been blown up. Nolimitangere turned to be a contentious reading material which instigated a clash between its advocates and detractors. The defenders of the novel were mostly Filipino reformists and some Spanish supporters. On the other hand, the detractors were composed of Spanish priests, senators, and military officers. In connection with the controversy, Rizal was ordered to report on Malacanang by Governor General Emilio Terrero to explain and make clarification on matters regarding the book. Convinced by Rizal's explanation, the Governor General requested Rizal to give him a copy of the said novel. Prior to his return in the Philippines, Rizal sent a copy of his novel to the Governor General, but it wasn't able to reach in his hands of the recipient. What do you think happened to the book? Care to share, Rizalistas, your theory? However, based on the report of the committee composed of members who were critical on the book, declared it heretic, scandalous, and subversive. The report of the committee was submitted to Governor General Terrero with the recommendation for the banning, reproducing, circulating, and importation of the Nolimitangere. One of the interesting topics discussed in the novel was the game of chance called cockfighting. The native Filipinos felt personal connection with the fighting of the cocks, and they could freely burst their anger. In the novel Nolimitangere, Rizal referred to the white cock as the superior bet, while the red cock as the inferior one. The color coding has altered from simple identification of the game fouls to personal allusion. Now, let us unravel the question on, is Rizal an American-made hero? Rizal as our national hero became an issue for some, and in fact, Rizal was tagged as a suspect of a hero made by the Americans due to a statement in opposing the revolution. He was even known to be a traitor. We cannot deny that Civil Governor William Howard Taft made a declaration recognizing Rizal as a hero of the Philippines. But this is only one side of the story. This is not enough basis for us to claim that Rizal is an American-made hero. Here are some circumstantial and factual evidences that would tell us a different chronicle. First, Rizal was already considered as a hero by the Filipino people even before the Americans' declaration of Rizal as the national hero of the Philippines. The Katipunan used Rizal as their password. There were 3 levels of membership in the Katipunan: Katipon as the lowest rank, Kawal as the middle rank, and Bayani as the highest rank. The password of the Katipon was Anak ng Bayan, Kawal was Gumbursa, and Bayani was Rizal. In addition, they displayed his picture and their headquarters and meeting places of the Katipunan. This shows the recognition and acknowledgement the Katipunan and Andres Bonifacio show towards Jose Rizal. Second, it was General Emilio Aguinaldo, not the Second Philippine Commission headed by Civil Governor William Taft, who issued the first declaration acknowledging Rizal's heroism. Aguinaldo, who was then the president of the revolutionary government, proclaimed December 30 as National Day of Mourning in honor of Rizal and other victims of Spanish tyranny. Let us now have the last topic, the Agrarian Conflict. The colonization of Spain and the Philippines led to the friars owning most of the agricultural lands and the abuse of powers by the Dominican priest. As a response, Governor General Terrero ordered the investigation of the land conflicts in Calamba. By the help of Rizal, the tenants of Calamba were able to prompt and voice out their grievances against the Dominican friars. Did you know that the Rizal family cultivated 382 hectares of sugar land and 9.8 hectares of land in which they rented from the Dominican friars? The land tilled by Don Francisco belonged to Hacienda de Calamba, which was a friar estate. These emissaries of God had turned a blind eye on their vow of poverty and even abused their tenants by increasing the rental fees. Calamba Hacienda was a two-layer structure. It was composed of the land management called the lessor on the top and the tenants or lessee under it. It was the responsibility of the estate owner to provide support to the tenants in the form of loan. When the friar-owned estate adopted the three-layer system, the tenants were allowed to contract subtenants called kasama through a sharecropping scheme. Rizal made his assessment surrounding the agrarian condition in Calamba. The findings were the following. First, the hacienda of the Dominican Order comprised not only the lands around Calamba, but the town of Calamba itself. Second, profits of the Dominican Order continually grew because of the arbitrary increase of the rentals paid by the tenants. Third, the hacienda owners never contributed a single centavo for the celebration of the town fiesta, for the education of the children, and for the improvement of the agriculture. Fourth, tenants who had spent much labor in clearing the lands were dispossessed of said lands for filthy reason. And fifth, high rates of interest were arbitrarily charged the tenant for delayed payment of rentals. And when the rentals could not be paid, the hacienda management confiscated the work animals, tools, and farm implements. These findings were formally submitted to the government for appropriate action. However, when the Calambeños complained to the government, the Dominicans countered by declaring the lands vacant and invited non-Calambeños to settle in Calamba. In conclusion, we can therefore say that agrarian problem is not just a recent issue. It can be traced back to the Spanish regime. With the problem confronting the Filipinos during that time, Rizal made significant struggle to solve the crisis. Though his expose of the problem and recommendations to resolve the conflict fell into deaf ears, one thing is very clear. Rizal was undoubtedly the first Filipino advocate for agrarian reform. As we end our video discussion for this lesson, I want you to ponder on the current situation of our Filipino farmers. Are you an advocate of agrarian reform? Show us your support for agrarian reform by creating a short digital slogan campaign. I hope this lesson helped you to be more aware and be a critical citizen of the country. See you for our next video discussion, mga Rizalistas. Bye!